All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday night. Happy team call, team integrity team call, and welcome if you're a guest. We are super excited to chat with you guys tonight all about social media, personal branding, mommy life, daddy life, balancing family with your business. I'm so excited. We have two amazing guest speakers to be on our call tonight. They are going to pour into us, share their knowledge. Feel free to ask questions. Please ask questions in the chat in the chat box as things come along. I have some questions that I'm going to be asking them throughout the process, but if you guys think of something, please let us know, and Rachel will go ahead and just keep it on the chat for me, and she will just cut in when she needs to, which would be super helpful. So I posted this in our groups, a little intro, a teaser about who we're going to be talking with tonight. I'm so excited. Literally, we just connected on Instagram, which is what this call is all about, mostly about Instagram. And we're going to go into more of that. But these two powerhouse women are amazing. I'm going to let them talk a little bit about themselves, but I kind of wanted to do a little bit of an intro for them. So if you look in your little squares here, you should see Emmy Lowe and Bree Heiligenthal. I think I said her last name right. Emmy and Bree have actually teamed up on some exciting projects that they will share with us a little bit later. But they are both amazing on Instagram. They have huge followings. They're super, super sweet. We've been chatting, and I knew right away these girls are special. We can learn from them. I can learn from them. I want them on our call. And so I reached out. I just said, hey, would you mind? And they said, totally, 100%. I think we're all in different states right now. So thank you guys so much, ladies, for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit of an intro. So, and I'm reading from my notes if you see me looking away here. So Emmy is a wife, a mom, an influencer, and a photographer from Salt Lake City. She began her career shooting weddings and fashion. But since having her daughter Rooney, she transitioned to being a full-time blogger. Isn't Rooney like the cutest name ever? She loves sharing tips and tricks for motherhood and has a passion for helping women learn to cope with infertility and miscarriages. Emmy has more than 45,000 followers on Instagram. So there's a clue. We like to say that hashtag, that's a clue. Bree is a married mom of two with one on the way in January. Super exciting. And she is from the Twin Cities in Minnesota. And she is an influencer as well and a work from home mom. She shares beautiful photos of her boys. Her house is amazing. You gotta check it out. And her go-to products for her family. Bree has more than 240,000 followers on Instagram. And the two of them, like I said, have collaborated on some really cool online products and projects that they're going to share a little bit more with us later. So Emmy and Bree, I don't know if you've been on Zoom calls before, but I'll have you go ahead and unmute yourselves. Everyone else on the call will stay muted, but if you guys want to unmute yourself, and basically, we can have Emmy go first, but Emmy, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your story, a little bit more about maybe your work background or your schooling background, your family, how you got into blogging, just to kind of paint the picture for us.
Sure. I have such a random, I feel like history. I actually began as a high school math teacher. I have my master's degree in education. I got that about 7 years ago. We were living in Tennessee, and me and my husband both got our masters, and we're teaching. We moved back to my home state of Utah for my husband to attend law school, and I was teaching high school here. And then I slowly decided that I wanted to do photography while I was living in Tennessee, and it transitioned. And I worked really, really hard, but I also got a lot of lucky breaks, I feel like. So I did that, and I went through 2 miscarriages before I had my little girl, Rooney. And when I got pregnant with her, I decided that I really wanted to focus on being home with her. I really wanted to change the tone of my story. I was working 90-hour weeks, and I didn't think that that was reasonable for wanting to be in the position I wanted to be as a mom one day. And then I started doing blogging. I launched my blog only in February of this last year. I switched my Instagram handle from my photo account to a personal one now. And then I've been asked for years to sell my presets from my photography days. And I just went back and forth on it. And then finally, about a month and a half ago, I decided to bite the bullet and go for it. And so that's how me and Bree met. I launched 2 sets of presets for mobile packs, and then also desktop for moms, photographers, business owners, whoever it is, just to help make things a little bit easier. And then me and Brie met because we did a collaboration preset together that was more directed towards her followers and towards her style and her aesthetic. And so it's been a really fun journey of doing photography, now doing influencing mixed in with my photography, and all while being able to stay home and be with my daughter.
I love it. I love it. And for anyone on the call who's like, what is a preset? What does that mean? Don't worry. We'll talk about it. The ladies will tell us exactly what that means. Just know that they make your photos look amazing. And I'm obsessed. I've been using it on all my photos already. So I love your story. Thank you. Okay, Bree, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and how you got into Instagramming and where you're at today?
Okay. I feel like my story is kind of boring, but I don't know. I was on Instagram like extremely personally, just like, I don't know, in my early 20s, like with just friends kind of when whatever was popular. And then I met my husband. We had our first child, Leo. And so that was 4 years ago. And I don't know, I stayed home with him and it was just me and him. And I just started taking pictures of him. And I don't know, I think I started with like 500 followers that were just like personal friends. And I just like kind of started engaging with like other mom groups, like photography hubs and other stuff on Instagram and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, my account just kind of started growing. And now I just stay at home with my 2 kids and take a lot of pictures, and we just kind of, I don't know, it's woven very well into like kind of everyday life, which is really nice for all of us. But I don't really have a photography background. It's all kind of just been self-taught. Well, I guess so is Emmy, but I don't necessarily know like the technical things, anything that I know I've just kind of like picked up along the way. And yeah, I don't know.
That's inspiring, you guys. Listen to that. It's organic. It feels natural. They're just documenting their lives, you guys. And if you had a chance, they're definitely going to let us know how to get a hold of them. Instagram, their blogs, like everything like that. We'll talk about that in the end for sure. But like, that's got to be inspiring, you guys. It's not like these are professional photographers and went to school for this and like no one else. We could never be like them because we're not professional. No, like just like what she said, we learn along the way, which is why you guys are on this call, because we're learning and we're open to learning. So I love it. It's not a boring story. It's very inspiring and very exciting. Like I told you ladies, we have everyone from beginner, brand new, maybe don't even have an Instagram account, to people who have been using Instagram for years and years and years, building a business, having success, but we're all about learning and we always want to keep improving. So okay, awesome. So what I wanted to ask first was, because from what I understand, these ladies are not involved in network marketing. They're definitely not involved with Isogenics, which I find very refreshing and inspiring, just to learn from people with a totally fresh outtake on this. But if you guys could explain, and if I'm assuming your guys' accounts are slightly different, but what does your business model look like? And so how do you make money from your account? Or do you make money from your account? If so, how? Just so that we can kind of understand and kind of paint the picture for us. And Emmy, we'll just have you go first.
I was going to say, Bree, you take the hand on this first. Perfect. Okay, I'll go. So I made money initially. My following initially grew, truthfully, from my photography account. I was shooting huge bloggers all over the country. I was traveling all over the world. I was shooting huge weddings. So I had like the most amazing content in the world because I was in the most amazing places in the world shooting all of this. And when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was actually talking to Brie about this. I've kind of gone through a little bit of I don't even know how to say it, like an emotional change of like Instagram, which sounds kind of silly, but I think it's very I think that sometimes the way that we perceive Instagram is it's very true to like our lives, very true to like what's going on with us every single day and what are we doing and what is, our aesthetic, what's our style and different things like that a lot of people grasp onto. I make money primarily from products being sent to me that are photographed on my daughter. I do have a handful that are photographed on me. I also make money now with selling my presets, which like we talked about earlier, that we'll share a little bit more about what that is. But that's been a huge game changer for me now compared to everything else I've done. So I'll do anything from like a sponsored campaign where a campaign is paying you to promote their product. But I also do a lot of commission type sales with different boutiques. Not a lot, but like maybe 3 different boutiques that I really like working with. And then honestly, and sometimes I just am doing it to get product for my daughter for like $100 romper that was so not realistic for me to ever purchase. And then the only thing that I have a hang up with that is then you have to find a way to say that like you would purchase that. And so I'm very upfront and real with the people who do follow me of like, hey, this was sponsored, but if you're looking for more of an heirloom product, this is something that would be great for you. So the big things that are important to me are just making sure that whatever I am promoting is very true and genuine to my brand, to my aesthetic, to my style, and to what I would want to talk about on my own, even if someone hadn't reached out to me. But that would be the primary places that I make income with my blog. And I'm fairly new, so I do know that there's a lot of other places like having ads on your site and different things like that. But I've decided that it's better to take it one step at a time and not to dive in too deep, because if you do, so many things fall through the cracks. So I work with a lot of affiliate networks as well, and different things like that.
Yeah, I love it. So you guys, what you can kind of glean from that is these companies, these products, these brands, as well as her followers, are drawn to Emmy because they like her. They know her, they like her, they trust her, they feel like she's letting them in, and it's a good match. And the same goes for all of us. We're trying to attract customers the same way. You have to be vulnerable and put yourself out there and let people know who you are and what you're all about, and you will attract the right people. Like Emmy's attracting, like it's like a little, like an attraction there. It's good. It's mutual, and Emmy gets to be picky with who she works with, which is a great place. That's where we all want to be, right? And we do get to be that way. We get to pick who our coworkers are. So definitely take, guys, be kind of absorbing that information and kind of like reading between the lines. Okay, Bree, what about you?
So kind of like going off of what Emmy said, like just one thing that, and I haven't monetized my account probably as much as I could, but that's just kind of like a personal choice. But just kind of going off of what Emmy said about how she can be picky with who she works with, that is one thing that is nice, is that it's kind of like in my control. So I have people that reach out to me to do sponsored posts or like send products and stuff like that. And I can say yes or no, which kind of like makes it work well just for where we're at, I guess, in our lives. Yeah, so I guess, I know people that have like, they have 4 sponsored post slots to fill a month. I would say that would do something closer to like maybe 6 a year, for whatever that's worth. So those, like what I would consider a sponsored post would be like where I'm charging money, like the company is paying me on top of if they're sending me the product to promote or whatever. And then I also do I do a lot of stuff, just product exchange, just companies that I've worked with for years that like send us kids clothes or stuff for our house. And I think what you said about how people trust you, like that, I think that is really important. And just really being true to like just what you believe in. I think people can kind of like sense when you're being authentic and when you're just trying to sell them something. And so I don't know that necessarily makes like my sponsored posts or whatever more effective, but I am choosing things that I like, we as a family really use, or like we really believe in, or we would buy whether we were being paid to use it or not. I think people can like sense that, and I think it makes a difference with like the followers just that you retain. And yeah, so
yeah, 100%. And one thing, if you guys when you look through Bree's account, she has beautiful interior decor, and people are always asking, where's that couch from? Where's that chair from? Where'd you get that lamp? And she's quick to say IKEA, Wayfair, Target, wherever. So you're not sponsored by those companies. They're not sending you money to do that. But when you weave in the sponsored content with that, like, you are an influencer. That's why people are going to you for advice and tips, both of you guys. And so when you can, this is something that I'm striving to do personally, and I think everyone on our team should do, is we're not just recommending Isogenics products. We're not just recommending health and wellness products. Like, be well-rounded, full-rounded. And if you find a great deal on bananas at the store, talk about it. If you find a great pair of leggings that are almost as good as Lululemon's, talk about it. People want to know anyway. So when you do, you're just kind of that person they can go to. You get to decide what you want to give tips and advice about and recommendations, but it feels more natural when you're weaving in, oh, and this is my favorite pre-workout that I take, things like that. So I love that. Okay. So here's the big question I think everyone is wondering, with so many hundreds of thousands of followers: how did you gain such a huge following, and how long did it take? You guys sort of answered that a little bit, but I mean, we would love as much detail as you can provide.
Is this to me, or I mean?
That's all you, babe. That's all you, Bree.
Okay. Well, I really think that, like, the first thing that I think of that I think attracts people to my account is just, like, the cohesion. It's kind of like a first impression. Like, your feed is the first thing that people see about you online. And so I think when I started just, like, organizing that a little bit more and just putting more effort into, like, the way things flowed, because that's the first thing that people see. Like, that's, like, your first impression online. I think that's when it started kind of picking up. And I think people like to know, like, what to expect, like, in terms of, like, how consistent you are with posting, like, editing, just all of that, like, what kind of content you post. Like, so I think you kind of have to, like, commit to, like, something or certain things to make it successful. Does that make sense? I don't know.
So when you say that, do you mean like, I mean, I know what you mean, but the aesthetic of your account, is that what you're saying? Like, so when someone lands on your account?
I mean, I think so, because I feel like, you have, like, I don't know, 4 seconds to, like, stick out to somebody. And, like, if they scroll through your feed and it all kind of flows really well, it's intriguing, I think, to people. Like, that's what draws my eye to somebody's account and that's not to say that, like, the pictures themselves, when you enlarge them, or the captions don't matter too. But I think, like, the very first thing people see is just, like, your feed as a whole. And so I think when I started kind of, like, making it look a little bit more cohesive, that drew people in. And, like, I would do, like, I used to do kind of different things that attracted different audiences. Like, I used to take pictures of my cats a lot. And so, like, that brought all the cat lovers. And
You have a lot of cat ladies on your account.
yeah, like, I have people that ask me where the cats are. They're like, we haven't seen Toby. Where is he? And I'm like, he's fine. He's just really old. But I mean, so I don't know. I think people just like to know what they expect. Like, when they come to my account, they know they're probably going to get, like, interiors and cats and kids and, like, our family, I guess. And like, I don't stray too far from that, I guess. And I don't know. I guess maybe people would respond okay to that, but I do think that they like, here, you heard his name. I think people like to know, like, what to expect. And that's when I started noticing people starting to follow. Like 4 years ago, I think I had, like, 500 followers, and I don't know, I haven't kept track of the numbers exactly, but it probably took, like, a year or so to hit 10K. And then it, like, went really fast, I guess, to, like, 100. And I don't know, I don't know.
No, you're doing awesome. You're doing awesome. Were you featured by, like, because I know sometimes if you're featured by whatever, a company or a brand or something, you can see your following shoot up. Has that happened a few times for you?
Well, Ellen has reposted a couple of my photos.
Okay.
Ellen DeGeneres?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're lying to me.
No, I'm serious. But she didn't tag me one time, which was, like, really insulting. But anyway. But yeah, so I I don't know how many followers I actually got from like those specifically, like probably a few thousand. But you know, I kind of like notice when it's like steadily increasing, and then when it kind of plateaus for a little bit, and I don't know. I try not to get like too caught up in the numbers, because then I feel like it can get really discouraging, and it just feels like kind of a game that you can't always win.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, especially in our business, guys, it's not about having the most amount of followers. You want the right followers. You want the people that, quality. You want the people that are looking for you. You're looking for the people who are looking for you, right? So that's really important to attract the right type of people. You don't want to just, yes, isogenics is for everybody. We truly, truly believe that. But that's why there's a million different of us with different unique accounts. You don't want your one account to try to appeal to every single person on the planet. You have to, we talk about this on our team calls all the time. What are the 3 to 6 things that you are branding about yourself, that you're all about, that you can broadcast to your followers? And for Bree, that's her family, her interior, her cats. That's what she's really branded herself. Now, Emmy, I know that you're like being really humble, but you have 45,000 followers on Instagram. So you mentioned in the beginning, photography is huge on Instagram. And I think there are a lot of photographers that have great followings, but you had mentioned, shooting, you have great content because you're in all these amazing places, but what have you also seen besides that that's helped you gain a huge following, and how long has it taken?
So funny enough, I should probably just thank Bree on the call right now. Well, because I'll tell you, so I was growing pretty steadily, at least like 10 to 12,000 a year for a while there. And then when I was cutting back on my photography work, I just plateaued. And I also think that for the most part, a lot of Instagram kind of did that. Like there was just kind of a big lull. They were changing algorithms and a lot of things were happening. It was a lot harder to grow. So I feel very fortunate that I had already built such a decent following at that point. And a lot of my followers are from my old days. I shared a lot about my personal story, my miscarriages. And so I think a lot of people became attached to my story. And I like sharing it because I think that it helps people to know that they're not alone if they're going through something similar. But then I launched the presets, and I have to just say what the presets are really quick, because I feel like we've said that word and it's like a bad word that we're not supposed to talk about yet. My mom's going to get mad at me. So the presets are basically filters that you're applying to your images that you could then put on your social media. I created them over 6 years ago. I never wanted to sell because I was so specific on having my own individual style and my own individual aesthetic. And I saw so many people doing it, and I looked at it as a way of them selling out. And then I finally was like, you know what? If I'm going to stay home, I've got to find a way to make this work. And so we launched them. And it has been amazing. And I'm so glad that I did it, because in so many ways, it has helped build my brand. It's helped build me. It's something that I think that I'll be known for, that's something that people remember me as. When I first launched the presets, I had dozens of friends helping me out, posting, talking about them. And then naturally, just anyone who purchased them was talking about them, posting about them. And so I shot up a couple thousand, maybe not a couple, but maybe like 2,000 followers on Instagram, which for me was huge because I've just been in such a steady lull, or, I just wasn't really growing. And then me and Bree did the collaboration, and that was just a whole other boost because it was a whole group of people seeing my content that hadn't seen it before. And so my content kind of grew from a mixture of my photography back in the day to now people wanting to stay around for my story. Some people don't even know that I was a photographer, which, I mean, truthfully, I don't really hate. I don't mind it because I think that it allows me to be in a different sphere and not have them just think of me as a photographer. But and don't get me wrong, I'm very happy and pleased with the 45,000 followers that I have. I worked very hard to get there, and Bree's phenomenal. Her feed though is so clean, so put together, so perfect. And mine's great. It's fine. I love it. And I think that it has so much character for my personality, but I don't think that it's something that's going to be more of, I think I'd have to adapt it a little bit more so that it was more of a well-rounded for, other people. Bree's is a little bit, it's really easy on the eyes. I feel like mine's a little crazy, a little busy, which once again, I'm okay with. I love my life. I love my story. It's working for me. But I think that that's important to know is like, just like Bree said, the numbers don't always matter. I used to get so fixated on that. And I'm telling you, the moment I walked away from that, like, it just is a huge weight off your shoulders. And as long as you have engaging people who are following, like, still try to build, but don't stress about it. Like, if you're not, growing 100 followers or 50 followers a month that you set a goal for, that's okay. Like, this is just a part of, the growth patterns. And who knows, maybe in 6 months from now, Instagram's going to lay off and let more people see your content that you're posting. And maybe we'll all grow a little bit more, but we don't know. So I think that the big focus is just really focusing on being true to yourself, posting content that is good. That was one mistake that I started to make for a while there is I just wanted to get content on my Instagram that I was just posting to post. And now I'm like, no, unless I have something that is quality that I know kicks ass, that I know is so good and is like going to perform well, I'm not going to post it because this isn't meant to just be like a personal diary journal for me. This is meant to be like a business for me in my perspective. So just thinking about those type of mind frames, I think really has helped me just kind of navigate that world, I guess. Did I answer? I hope I did.
No, gold. You guys, please. I don't know if they can see the chat, but please, like already I'm like so many amazing just things to remember and mindsets. Like please give them some love in the chat option there. But if you guys, what I'm hearing is word of mouth. That's what we're all about. So if someone comes across Emmy's account, like I did, or Bree's account, I think originally, and I see the presets and I tell everyone about it, like we're in a world of word of mouth, recommendations. When we find something we love it, we tell other people about it. I'm sure people are tagging their friends in both of your guys' posts, like, hey, look at this person's account. Like, you want to be creating content that other people want to share. And on Facebook, you have the share button, but on Instagram, it's more just like tagging the people in your life and spreading the word about it. So be thinking, and I love what you said about don't post just to post, because even I get wrapped up in that where I'm like, oh my God, we text each other often like, oh my God, I haven't posted all day. It's 6 o'clock. What am I going to post about? And you're like freaking out because the algorithms and oh my God, I'm going to lose followers. And it's like, you got to put out quality content. I love how intentional both of these ladies are. When you guys go to their Instagram accounts, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so kind of weaving into that is how do you continue to grow your audience?
Jump in, Bree. Just Bree has her hand up. She's trying to be polite. Jump in.
Bree, just yell. Make yourself known.
No, I just wanted to piggyback a little bit off of what Emmy said too about, well, two things about posting just to post. And like, I've gone through that before and it is weird. It is this like weird pressure. Like the more consistently you post, the more you're like, oh my gosh, I have to post today. Like, and then, like so we moved earlier this year and I kind of like laid low for a while and like, it's fine. Like the world is not going to end if you don't post one day on Instagram. And like the more pressure you put on yourself to like do it all the time and have to do it, I feel like it's just really easy to kind of like get stuck or get in a rut or just feel discouraged. I feel like it just kind of like stunts creativity. At least it does for me. So I don't know. It's kind of a hard balance with like wanting to be consistent and like have content and also just like, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is sometimes I have killer content. So I'm like, sure, I'm going to post 3 times today because my content's awesome. But if I don't, like, all that I'm doing is hurting my brand and hurting the reputation that I'm putting for what I'm putting out there to the people who are following me.
Yeah. And then, the thing just about being true to yourself, I think it's like, since it's so visual and like a lot of Instagram is like looking at other people's feeds and other people's accounts, it's like I kind of had to just kind of come to terms with a long time ago. I mean, like admiring and being inspired by and taking inspiration and ideas, but like mainly just focusing kind of on myself and just kind of keeping my eyes on my own work a little bit, just because otherwise it's just too easy to get caught up in feeling like you have to keep up with so-and-so or do what they're doing. And then it's really hard to like stay true to what you believe in. And like, you can stick out for like you don't have to do what somebody else is doing to be successful. Like there's so many ways that you can like make it your own and put your own spin on things and just be true to who you are and be successful. And, you know, I don't know.
Well, that was another thing I was going to say is actually, and I don't know if you agree, Brie, but this is my perspective. You and me could not be more opposite in a good way. Like, we are very opposite. And I wrote her yesterday, like a couple days ago, and I'm like, I was so worried you weren't going to like me. Because I have a very abrasive personality. I'm very outgoing. I'm very loud. I'm very energetic. And you're just so mellow and so chill. But the thing that's really cool about social media and Instagram is we don't have to be the same, but we work together. Like, it works. You can come together with different people, come up with ideas, you know, make plans together, but like you don't have to try to become each other. And I think that's probably one of the most important lessons I've learned about social media is not feeling like I have to be someone that I'm not. Because that I tried that for a minute there, you guys, and I failed very successfully failed. Like it was awful. And now that I'm continuing to be more true to me, I've never felt like I know it sounds silly, but I've never felt prouder about like the content I'm putting out and like the way that I'm capturing my family and setting these memories and showcasing different products that like really I believe in and that I love and that I use every day and different things like that. Like it's just so important to not try to push that boundary of like, I have to be this person that I'm not.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
We talk about that a lot on our calls, like finding your voice. We all love Isogenics. We all use the products, but we all started for a different reason. We're all continuing to use them for a different reason. If you're building a business, you have a different why. So you can't just, you know, there's a millionaire in the company. You can't just take their post and slap it on yours. And if it doesn't, you know, we have to make things our own. And I think Bree brought up a great point. I'm still learning this is the difference between comparing yourself and being inspired by others. I think it's really important that we want to always be kind of just looking within. Okay, so you kind of answered a bunch of my questions already, which is great. But Emmy, when you're like, I have a kick A content, how do you know when something is really good? So my question is, what are 3 factors that every successful post has, in your opinion? So what, you know, to give us maybe some guidelines or, you know, what are the elements in a successful post for you?
Oh man. Elements in a successful post for me are always going to begin with the image. I have to be honest with you, but that's because I'm a photographer. So I'm so critical about like what imagery looks like. And my perspective is if I'm going to be posting or talking about things, I want to make sure the content looks okay. That does not mean that I will not post a blurry black and white picture of me and my little girl in the night where it's dark and you can't really see because it's not a perfect picture. That just means that I want to make sure that it flows, that it works really well with what else I'm talking about. One of the big things that I focus on is not having a picture be every single picture of Rooney, but more like maybe a picture of me and Rooney, maybe an interior, maybe a picture of Rooney by herself, maybe a picture of a far away me and Rooney, and then maybe more of a close up. So I try to put a lot of variety in that sense and try to make sure that I'm mixing it up. Also, not just because it looks better, but also so that you're not like boring the people who are following you. Because I think that if you're posting the same thing every single day, they start to become like, okay, we get it. The other thing is captions. You have to find something that's very catchy that people are going to stop and want to read it. So for me, it's whether it's talking, like I'm a very emotional person. Poor Brie, right? Because she has to talk to me every day and work with me all the time. But I'm a very emotional, hormonal person a lot of time, which I'm not normally, but lately I am. And so a lot of my posts kind of include my emotions and like, what's going on with me? How am I feeling? Like earlier today, it was like, oh my gosh, can you believe how freaking cute my daughter is? Like, I'm so glad that I have these pictures of me and her together. So it's expressing kind of the content that I feel and expressing the emotions that I feel and that can help people kind of understand where I'm at or, you know, how I'm feeling and different things along those lines. So I would say, so I'm going to rewind. Good picture, cohesive content, and I'm not going to say catchy caption, but more like verbiage that's in making people want to be around, they're just wanting, they're coming back wanting more all the time.
Mm-hmm. So if you're posting like a really cute little dress that Rooney's wearing, the caption's not going to say 98% cotton, 2% polyester, machine wash only, it's $29.95, right? Like, because
Okay, but wouldn't that be so funny if I actually did do that, Amanda?
as like, you know, satirically, sure. But I mean, we're so obsessed with our products. Like, it's grass-fed whey protein and there's 24 grams of protein and, you know, all this stuff. And like, I'm guilty of it too, but it's like, it's just like what Emmy's saying. Like, they're going to respond to the emotion, to the feeling behind something, like to the emotions the picture draws or to the caption, like, makes you feel. People are going to remember how you make them feel, which is the same as in person and online. So be thinking about that when you're writing captions. You guys read the captions on their photos. They're great. It's not just like, Rudy and I went to get ice cream today. Okay, like it's more than that. So you have to be thoughtful. Like, if anything, we're being intuitive. I mean, we're not being intuitive, we are, but we're being thoughtful and purposeful with our posts, and we're really taking some time to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even thinking about your product specifically, Amanda, and I don't sell any type of product like that. I don't think it's a good fit for me in general. But thinking about a product like that, not even necessarily talking about the product, but more talking about your experience involving the product, and then having it lead into people being like, oh my gosh, where did you get that? Or tell me what that is. What did you use for that then? Because now you're tying in emotion, experience, and now they're wanting to know, how do they get that emotion and how do they get that experience as well? Yeah,
100%. Bree, anything to add to that? Because Emmy is like, she needs a mic so she can drop it right now. She's on fire.
Oh my gosh, I'm so loud. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. I agree that I feel like the image is the first thing, because it's like, it's a visual platform. That's what, you know, that's what draws people in before they even start reading. Like, when I'm scrolling on my phone next to my husband, who is like looking at his Instagram, and he scrolls by a caption with a paragraph that's like that long, like he usually doesn't read it. So I think you want to draw people, if you have like something big to say or a lot to say, like draw them in right away with the picture, and then with like the first line. And I agree about the cohesiveness about, and I can talk, we both probably could talk more about that, how it's like specific to Instagram, how to like kind of like create that cohesion. There's like little tricks that you can do to kind of create that within your feed if you're wanting to. But then, and like, so this is kind of like a difference between Emmy and me. And I feel like this kind of speaks to just being true to you and doing what works for you. And I have so I don't know that I ever was like super emotional. I mean, sometimes like if something like really big happens in my life or that I feel compelled to share, I do. But I also, as my account has grown bigger, I've just become like more and more intentional about just having to draw a line and like keep some things private. And so I don't share everything. Like I'm probably inclined to share like less specifics. And I don't know. I think it just goes also back to like, people want to know what they can expect from you. And so people probably don't come to my account for like super in-depth. Like, if there's like something going on in the world that I really want to talk about, I talk about it. But like this, yeah, I think people don't necessarily, they know that they are not going to come to my page and find me like venting about certain things that my kid did, or like, and I have chosen to just not do that. And that doesn't mean that anyone else is wrong for doing it, but I think, I don't know. So yeah, I am probably more inclined to do like something like witty or catchy or something short and sweet, and like, and that works for me. And I think you can, yeah, like you can kind of, there's like a whole spectrum of like ways to draw people in. And sometimes like, I think people need both. Like, people need like emotional experiences to relate to and be like, oh my gosh, I had the worst day with my 2-year-old too. Like, I'm so glad I'm not the only one. And also just like, you know, a funny picture with a funny caption to just keep it light. And I think it's nice to, you know, see some of both.
Yeah. It's very similar to what we were talking about earlier, you guys, with what can people expect from your page? What are those things that you're posting about? And you want someone to think, like for me personally, when someone is like, what should I cook for dinner tonight? I want a healthy recipe. I want them to think, oh, Amanda posts recipes.
Mhm.
Or gosh, I really like, I want to laugh. I want something funny, or I want to look at cute baby photos. They're going to think, okay, Amanda has it on her page. If someone is like, I really want to complain about the president right now, they're not going to come to my page because that's not what they're going to find on my page. So you guys be thinking about what do you want people to think of you for? And Isogenics is just going to be one small part of that, you guys, because we're about more than that. And if you can't think of anything, then you got to do some soul searching. There's got to be more, and that's why we're here to help you guys. That's why the team is here. But I love how different these two ladies are. Like that, you guys, it's their storefront. So they're going to keep it really professional, fun, light, funny, but professional at the end of the day. And that's what we're all striving for as well. Okay, so you guys kind of answered a lot of these questions, like how often do you post, things like that. I think two really big questions. One is more nitty gritty, and one is more high level. So I'm gonna ask the nitty gritty one first. How do you decide? Okay, so everyone's trying to figure out Instagram stories, even though they've been around for a little bit. Like people on our team were starting to figure out, oh, okay, this could be really big. How do you guys personally decide what content goes in your stories versus what goes in your posts?
I don't know. You want me to go first? Okay. Yeah, I would probably be more inclined to post like something personal in my stories first, because I feel like sometimes it's nice to like post something that doesn't get like a public response, but I get some like really thoughtful responses personally. And sometimes like, I've posted something in stories and then I've been like, oh my gosh, I've gotten so many messages, like so thoughtful. Like I want other people to see these and read these and know that. And so then I've been like, oh, I think I will post something like about this in my feed too. So I don't know. I feel like stories feels like a little bit more casual, maybe a little bit more like, I don't know, like, I don't know what the right word is. Conversational, maybe, like, not like for engagement, or like not authentic, because I feel like what I post in my feed is also authentic, but
is it like messy, real life, in the moment type stuff?
Yeah, kind of. And just like a chance to have like a really honest conversation that maybe like nobody else will see. Like you'll just have one conversation with like another person, but it, I think of an example of a while ago that I was like out in public and I saw someone that was baby wearing and they were doing it wrong. And I was really worried about the baby because they were super, super low and it was like a newborn. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Like, I don't know. And so I like asked on Instagram stories and I got like a ton of responses. And I told her and I went up to her and it was like a really positive outcome, whatever. But I don't know. I just like, I feel like, I don't know if that really answers it, but I feel like there is just like, the people that engage with your stories are maybe like that much more engaged with what, like your, like everything about the whole spectrum of your life, like the pretty moments and everything in between. So I don't know, I guess I use it to be like a little bit more personal, whereas on my account, I may be a little bit more like professional or just like draw that clear line kind of, and stories is an opportunity to like connect a little bit further or more personally with people. Versus just like, hey, couch is from so-and-so and like we got our rug at West Elm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's perfect. And you gave a great example of something that's happening and you wanted real-time advice. You were like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Like, and you posted it right then and there, right? So whereas, on your stories, a post, I don't know about you, but I sometimes I think of posts for a few days. I think about the photo that I've taken or that I want to take, or caption or something I really want to be thinking about. Stories are in the moment, documenting your life. I think exactly what you said, like a little bit more casual. And you guys, like, if you're not already, I encourage you to watch people's stories and then go and compare them to their posts. And you'll start to kind of see, it's kind of like, this is why I'm not sure, because it's a feeling. Like it's a feeling of, is this okay, for example, I made baby food today for the first time, which is fun, and I was boiling sweet potatoes, and I'm like, okay, would I spend the time to make a beautiful, amazing, post about sweet potato? No, but I took a boomerang of it, which was a little video, and I said, making baby food for the first time, and it was like documenting my life. So you can kind of start to feel the distinction between the two. Emmy, how do you decide personally what content goes in your stories versus actual Instagram posts?
I think I'm fairly similar. I think also stories are a lot easier to post, and so I don't have to think as much about it. I will say I'm becoming a little bit more intentional just so that it doesn't get lost and it's not just like blah, 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 blah. But I also like that it's so random. Like, I love that it's like you're getting a glimpse of what I'm doing today. I'm not going to always tell you what's going on in my life, but you might get a snippet of a movie. Another big thing for stories for like my personal account is people love my husband. He's funny. He's very like, he makes fun of me a lot. We've got a very like fun, upbeat like marriage. And so he'll get on and be like making fun of me, making a blogger voice, or like, this is so fun. He'll like do the blogger, like the upspeak that he talks about. So like that for me has been big because it allows people to see another side of my life and not just see like my pretty pictures or me and Rooney. So like I'll get messages that are like, where's Trent? Why haven't we seen him for a few days? Is he okay? So I think that it's just allowing people to let into your life. One thing, and I've told Brie this before, but one thing that I admire about her as well, and it just goes to talk about how different that we really are and how different we treat social media and our accounts. She is kind of a mystery. Like, you don't fully know like everything about her, and I love it. Like, and I have a friend who's like that too, that has like 900,000 followers, and you don't know a lot about her, and you just are always wanting more, and I love that. Like, I almost give too much information. I'm like, guess what I ate for breakfast? Like, I'm just very different in the way that I present content. But one thing that I think is so cool is it can be treated so differently. It can be treated as like an open storefront of like, here's everything. Or it can be treated like Brie kind of takes it, where it's a little bit more like reserved and personal. And like the more and more we've got to know each other, the more and more I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of fun. Just because I wouldn't expect certain things about her versus if you followed me for a year, you're going to know I'm loud. Like, you're going to know those different things about my personality just because that's what I'm constantly showing, on social media. So I just think it's really, I know that we've said this like 1,000 times, but I think it's so important to recognize how important it is to be true and authentic to your own personality for what you're showcasing to people. Because if you're forcing something that isn't you, like if I was being reserved and never talking about stuff, people would be like, that's not really you. Mm-hmm. Just because that really, like, genuinely in real life is not me. And so I think just looking at that, analyzing like, who am I? How do I want to showcase myself? Am I like a pushy salesperson that's like talking about it every single day? And if you are, that's fine. And it's not even being pushy, but it's just what you do. Or are you that salesperson that talks about it every 3 days, but still posts content that involves all of it with little drops about it? But every 3 days is when you're like, yeah, you know what? Today I'm using this product, and you're creating more of like a spaced out relationship with your followers where they're starting to understand what they can expect from you weekly.
Yes, 100%. You guys, are you getting value from this? Like, I'm getting goosebumps. Please, like, write your comments in the chat. I've seen a couple questions come up. We're definitely gonna get to those if we can. What I'm hearing is be authentic, be true to you, show your personality, be intentional about how you want your storefront to look. And in a way, put yourself out there, whatever that means to you, put yourself out there. We're not robots. We all have stuff going on in our lives, and that's what Instagram is for, to document. Which brings me to my next question, which is so interesting because you guys have built your business and built your branding on like your families and you guys being moms. Basically, both of you guys have said, it's like a mommyhood, motherhood. How the heck do you balance your social media with your family life? Because the lines are blurring, right? And so I think with us, you can get overwhelmed. You can, on our team, this is things we've talked about. You can feel oh my gosh, I have to post all the time, or maybe your spouse doesn't understand, maybe they don't support what you're doing, or maybe your kids are like, mommy, why are you always on your phone? And you're like, I'm literally building an empire for you. But how do you guys balance that out when your career is built on documenting family life? And whichever one of you wants to go first, because I'll tell you, a lot of the people on this call, most of the people on this call are moms. So we definitely want to, the mom guilt is real. So we definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Yeah.
I can go. Do you want me to go or you?
You can go first.
That is new for me because I've only been a mom for a year. So I used to be on my phone all the time, and my husband would joke about wanting to throw it out the window. He's like, if it didn't cost $900, I 100% would take a hammer to it and smash the crap out of it. He hated my phone. It wasn't that he didn't support what I was doing, but he hated how much I was away from him and I was glued to my phone, which I was. So then I had my baby. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I can't be on my phone because I have to play with her and pay attention to her. And this is so fun. But yet I was on my phone because I was filming videos of her, taking a picture of her. So where I'm at now is I'm limiting when I'm on my phone. When my little girl goes to bed, I usually spend about 30 minutes responding to comments, answering a few emails, different things like that. When she naps during the day, I'm either editing or answering emails or answering comments or posting something or editing photos to put on my Instagram. And then there's times where I built in for me and Rooney, like when we're just at the house hanging out and she's playing, then I'll go ahead and work at that time too. But when my husband's home, aside from those 30 minutes, I am a wife. I am home and I am a wife. If we're out as a family, I am out with them as a family. And I've done that because I've realized that like building this empire or building this Instagram following or building this career is not worth sacrificing my relationships for. And I think one of the hardest things about social media is people always assume that you're always on because it's easy to access you. And I hate that. We've had a few people like DM me, or not even DM me, like found my number somehow and text message me about the presets that they've purchased and like ask questions. And I'm like, no, like that's not how that works. This is an invasion of like my boundary of personal privacy. And so I've kind of set up lines for myself where I'm working a little bit in the morning, then I'm making sure that I'm off my phone, whether maybe I'm taking a few pictures of Rooney, which isn't a big deal because I'm still with her and paying attention, like spending time with her. And then 30 minutes after she goes down when me and my husband are home. And then after that, I'm with him. And then sometimes when I'm laying in bed before night, I'll be on my phone answering a few emails. But I'll tell you, I'm on my phone way more now that the presets launched than I was before. So I think that my biggest advice to moms to walk away from this, like from this little question, is what I would say is build times into your day. And you know what? One of my friends, she's going to be so proud of me for saying this to you. One of my friends is a brilliant, she owns a company. She's a photographer. She is brilliant. She's a marketing genius. She once said, you're not going to make $1 million by not spending $20 on a babysitter. And with that said, I have a nanny that comes 3 days a week. And I need that because that allows me to get work done. That allows me to answer emails. That allows me to get content prepared, different things like that. She only comes 3 hours a day. So it's only 9 hours a week. But that's enough time that it allows me to feel like I have enough control to get things handled and get things figured out. And I'm not feeling like, oh my gosh, I have no time to do this. And then I'm sacrificing my family time to do that. So I'm very, very intentional about the time that I'm spending doing work. I'm putting the investment into my business by hiring someone to be at my house so that I can work and get that kind of stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Amen. There are women on this call who have done that and they feel conflicted about it, but absolutely 100% so important. Bree, how do you balance social media with family life? And you've talked a little bit about drawing the boundaries of, your content, but anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with pretty much all of that. It kind of is just like a choice you have to make that, like, I'm intentional for a while, like to kind of like create the habit, because it is like such a time suck. And I don't know, like 2 years ago, probably like first thing in the morning, grab my phone, start scrolling, and like I had to just kind of like set those boundaries for myself. Like you don't even really need to check your phone before 10 a.m. and like start your day with your family, with your kids, like, and it becomes habit really quickly. And, you know, as my kids aren't older, they're older than Emmy's daughter, but, you know, so if Leo is like really involved in something that he's doing, like I'll take that opportunity to catch up on things or answer emails. If I know that I'm going to have like last week when we launched the presets, if I know that I'm going to have a really busy week, I schedule other people to be helping with my kids, like my mom, my sister, and they're so much happier. I don't want them to remember me as a mom that like always had a phone in her face. Like that's really important to me. You know, I would say like 90% of the time I pretty much take the weekends off because it's like a blurry line. Like you said, otherwise it's like you never get any time off when you're like using it as a business, because people can reach you 24/7. Like there's no 9 to 5. And you know, like with the presets, like I'm getting emails of images to test until midnight, and I wake up with like an inbox full, and I don't know, it's just like, it's, you know, versus like my husband, you know, he goes to work at 8, he comes home at 5, and like he's done working at 5. Like he's not going through his emails and doing stuff when he gets home. And so you just kind of have to be intentional about like setting times that, you know, work for your family and for your kids to do it. And I don't know, I know not everybody has access to like someone to watch their kids sometimes, but like I don't have a regular nanny. But it does help to have family around that when I know I just like I have this and to do, like having them to help with the boys makes a really big difference. And I don't feel any of that guilt because I know that they're getting the attention that they need. And yeah, I don't know, pretty much what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like there's going to be seasons, you guys. So they just launched epic proportions of amazing products that are for sale. They're promoting the crap out of it. They want to get the word out about it. So same like we have a 30-day Fit for Fall challenge. You're going to be promoting that way more right now, but you're not working like that all the time. So we can plan different campaigns throughout the year. You know, sometimes like when a new shake is going to drop, you're going to be working more during that time to capitalize that and utilize that, maximize it. Or if you're like Rachel's leading a team of people who are doing a 20 and 30 right now, which is where they're, you know, working to get 20 new customers in 30 days. That's intense work. That is hire nannies or get help with the kids or get help around the house. That's not sustainable all year round. Maybe you bust your butt Monday through Friday and you take the weekend. It's really, you know, you have to find what works for your family. And here, our culture at our company is 100% family comes first. Like whatever that means, whatever that looks like for you, family comes first. So I love that you guys are emphasizing that. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. So Rachel, are there any like just must ask questions right now? I know that you had one, but are there any like diehard questions we need to ask right now?
So I think it was answered, and I can reach out to you gals separately, but it was mostly about like how do you balance engaging with your content, like people commenting on things and asking questions, because I was looking through your Instagrams and I can see what you were talking about, Amanda, where Bree's like, I got that couch at this place, or that rug is from here, and I'm like, you have 65 comments on this one post. Like how are you managing all that? But you ladies covered that pretty well, and I feel peace about that answer. So that was my question, and I really appreciate you talking about that engagement and that balance piece. And Amanda, I do have both their handles on us that I can screen share whenever you're ready to wrap up, so that people can see those and can get those.
Yeah. So one thing I really, really wanted to talk to you guys about was the whole reason I even connected with these two ladies was because of their presets. Let me tell you a little story. I'm gonna go back in time. Kelly Dickerhook, multi-millionaire leader in our company, was on a team call. She said, my photos look so great because I use presets. I said, what is a preset? I Googled it. It's preset settings that you can apply, edits to photos, to make your photos look more cohesive and more consistent. There's yellow tinted presets, there's pink tinted, there's really bright, there's more moody, like a million different things you could think of. What these two gals did is they well, this is what Emmy described, which they designed and created their own presets that really, you guys, I purchased them because I love them. And I use them on all my photos now, and because I want my accounts to look like their beautiful account. And it's really simple. It takes literally one, upload the photo, one button. So so here I am hearing advice from somebody. I saw a bunch of different presets from a bunch of different companies, and I weighed it out, and I was like, and then I saw these girls. You guys, I've been following them. Their content appealed to me. I loved what they were doing. I love their photos. When you see something that you like, when you find someone who's successful, you copy what they're doing. You make it your own, but you emulate what they're doing so that you can find success. You walk in the path of the people who've gone before you. So I said, hello, these girls were great. I love their presets. They had great customer service. I had an awesome experience. And what did I do? I turned around and told everybody in our groups about this amazing preset. So one, I really want to plug their presets because they're great and very affordable. You should definitely go check them out, and we'll talk about that. But also, like, you guys just have to up level your game a little bit. Start by getting an account, then be consistent in posting, having good content, and then make it visually pleasing and beautiful. And these ladies are making that easy. So that just kind of goes to show like the evolution. And the same can be true with our products as well. So it's the power of that. Okay, so my next question is, how can we connect with you guys? So I know when I was promoting this call with you ladies tonight, I put your Instagram handles in the post. So a lot of people already have your handles, but please tell us your Instagram account, website, email, however, this is the time to shameless plug how we can get a hold of you guys.
Emmy?
Okay, I'll go first. So my Instagram account is at Hello Emmy Low. Hello, Emmy, EMMY Low, like the hardware store. My website is www.helloemmylow.com. To purchase the presets that we were chatting about before, you'll go to that same website, and you can also type in this link, www.helloemmylow.com/presets. I also have an email address that we do tester images for people, and that email address is emmylowpresets@gmail.com.
Love it. Love it, love it. Bree.
So that's my username. Birds Breeze, please. Like the chapstick, but my name. And yeah, the same thing with the presets for her. You can email me too for testers. It's just birdsbreezeplease@gmail.com. And I try to give, like, if people are inquiring about it, I try to give like some more specific tips when I'm replying with the testers. Like, I would probably be inclined to reduce exposure by whatever to 0, or I might do this on this if they're interested. So you can email me if you want any more like specifics. I'm sure Emmy would offer the same. Yeah, so we do the tester, and this was like Emmy's idea, and it's worked really well to test people's images before they buy, because presets are kind of like a buy sight unseen kind of thing. And we've gotten a ton of feedback from people that is like, I've spent so much money on presets and I had no idea what my pictures would look like with them. Like, they looked really good in the images that they offered, but then when I used them on my own pictures, they didn't work at all. And so we want you to be like, we want you to try it before you buy it, basically. We want people to be really happy with what they're getting. And I think so far people have been, so that is a huge plus.
Absolutely, you guys. That was so helpful for me, because I thought the same thing. Well, these women must have professional cameras, or I don't know, like, And so they were like, hey, email us your photos and you can see what it looks like. And I was like, heck yeah. I sent a photo of my baby. I sent a photo of my yogurt. It made it look even more amazing. So honestly, you guys, thank you so much, ladies. Like, I can't even tell you, I've had goosebumps. You should ask the girls on my team. When I told them that you guys agreed, I was like so excited. I was like, we're going to talk to these ladies. You guys provided immense value to our team. It was so great hearing your guys' mindsets. I love how different you were. I love how different your accounts are, but really the same themes really rang true. We so appreciate you. Everybody, please write in the comments your favorite thing that you heard, or a piece of feedback a piece of advice that you're going to turn around and use. Please show some love to these ladies. obviously go follow them on Instagram. Obviously check out their presets. I should have mentioned I don't benefit from this at all. I just love their presets. So anyway, they were amazing, you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And then Rachel, you can go ahead and stop the recording, and you guys go ahead and keep filling up the chat with